Strap on your sunhats and sharpen your trowels because we're welcoming plant whisperer and suspected ADHDer Karen into the Pod Loft for another guest episode. Karen starts us off with her inspiring ADHD journey in a glorious display of nonlinear thinking and shares some tips for creating a positive routine while embracing your consistent inconsistency. Then it's time for those classic segments where Karen divulges her quirkiest quirks and a hilariously upsetting river-based pizza secret. In Hobby Collectors, Karen and Kristin are getting knucks deep into the ins and outs of indoor plant care, while notorious plant murderer Grace stays mostly silent where she belongs. They'll be answering all of your plant-related questions, such as what plants are good for ADHDers and how often should I be watering them. Plus, we're finally addressing the not-so-hotly debated question that's on everyone's minds. Is it okay to put plants up your butt? The answer just may surprise you.
They said that we'd grow out of it. Well, the joke's on them, that's just our brains. We're eccentric, loud, and stubborn, and most of our clothing is covered in stains. It's not a deficit of attention, there's just too much to think about. So if executive dysfunction becomes a little too much, if you forgot why you came in this room, or you're hypersensitive to touch, then put on your seamless socks and come join our little flock. Bitches stimming together, we're weirds of a feather, weirds of a feather.
Welcome.
Welcome!
This is Weirds of a Feather, an ADHD-Adjacent podcast. I'm your host, Kristin.
I'm your host, Grace.
And today we have a special episode again.
We have our third guest in the studio
We're
today.
just rolling through guests, and it's great. I really like guests.
I like guests as well.
Yeah.
The Pod Loft is full of laughs and smiles. We are welcoming our friend Karen onto the podcast today.
Yeah, welcome, Karen.
Hello. Hi, friends.
Thanks for hanging out with us today on this nice, sunny, but also a little windy kind of day.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
We got a lot to talk about. This is our Plantpisode, too. Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk. Plantpisode.
Oh, she said it. Yeah, Plantpisode is right.
Is it Plantpisode? It's a Plantisode.
No.
Plantpisode.
Yep, thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
Plantpisode.
We're going to take a poll about
the P
this.
is silent. No, it's not.
And at the same time, it's very pronounced.
Yes. Plantpisode or Plantisode. I think Plantisode.
You don't even know anymore.
No, I'm so confused. I don't know what side. We're going to take a poll on it, though.
You said Plantpisode first. We're going with Plantpisode. No, it's Plantpisode.
I feel uncomfortable.
All right, Karen, welcome to this Plantpisode. We are psyched to have you join us because, unlike me, you are kind of a plant expert. You've been learning a lot about how to care for plants, and you're very good at it. I feel like it's one of your hyper focuses. And so we're going to have you and Kristin answering some of the listeners' plant questions. The listeners need to know.
The listeners need to know this information. Thank you all who wrote in their questions on Instagram or email or TikTok or whatever. We appreciate that. And we're going to cover almost all of them.
Yep. But before we get into plants, first, Karen, we want to hear a little bit about your own personal ADHD journey.
Yay.
So why don't you start us off with just I don't know, who are you? What's going on up there?
What's going on with Karen?
That's something I've been trying to figure out for majority of my life, or right until right now too. I still don't know how to answer that, but basically I am a self-taught, or I like to think I am a self-taught nail tech yogi that likes to do things with her hands and create things and make something out of nothing. And I'm still trying to put that in a category, but I don't seem to find one yet. So
you can't be contained to a category.
Yeah. So I've done pottery once. I don't know that I'm a potter, but I like doing stuff like that and just learning different things. I didn't finish college, so I can't say I have any career or anything. I do work in construction.
You have a career.
I do have a career. You see, this is new to me, though.
All right. You have a lovely career. You were actually working this morning.
Yes.
Which is
you're right.
Better than me.
It's something that I forget because I feel like ever since COVID happened, it's just a lot of it, everything feels a little surreal in a way.
I think a lot of people also use their careers to define them, myself included. Like if they're like, who's Kristin? Oh, Kristin's a PA. I'm more than just a PA.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm a
that's
lot of
great
things,
that
Yeah.
first you start describing yourself not like based on careers.
Yeah. No, I don't want to define myself as just the title of something. I want to do more than that. But I feel like I have serious imposter syndrome with my job. Like I'm the only woman working in this branch here in this
Heck yeah.
field that's like dominated by men. And it's like,
Take down the
sometimes
patriarchy.
I don't know if I'm being swindled or what. Like, do you think I'm stupid? Like, I don't know. But the job is real. The checks are coming in. So, whoops.
I'm sure
I
you're
think
doing
that's
an amazing
great.
job. I know you're doing an amazing
I
job.
know. I forget because, of course, I focus on the things that I have left to do instead of what I have done and fucking have accomplished.
Meanwhile, all those men are walking around doing the bare minimum.
Pissing contests.
Like, I'm
all the
amazing.
time. They piss all over the place. And I'm just like, why are you having a pissing contest with your customer? This is weird and uncomfortable.
Man.
Ugh.
All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about ADHD? Kind of, I know you're a suspected ADHDer.
Yeah, you are our first guest on here who is a suspected ADHDer, and I think our listeners would really learn a lot from your story and really be interested in your story. As am I. I am also interested.
Well, I'd start by saying curiosity, I feel like, feeds our brains. And I've always been curious for other stuff. And once I learn something and kind of like I want to master it or become obsessive with it, then I push myself to do it. And then once I master it, I'm like, all right, well, I did that and I'm bored of that. And what's next? And then I move on to certain things. So I feel like I've gone through most of my life going through these phases of learning things and kind of feeling like I master them, but then also doubting whether or not I can even do it for like a profit or not even a profit, just for, something that fuels my soul. So I'm constantly searching for something that, gives me joy. And plants were one of those things that once in a lifetime, they brought me so much joy in a time where I was super sad and super like in a dark place and alone or feeling alone. And that was nice. What? Where did I come from?
You tell me, man.
What? I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah, I'm just like enthralled. I'm just listening to you go. So when did you first start to become suspicious of your ADHD? Like what made you start to think, hey, wait a minute, this could be me?
So I grew up with my mom and my younger brother in the house. And my mom I suspect the shit out of her. Like she's definitely sus.
I met her and I also suspect her.
There is no way no one in their right mind actually lives the way we do in our house, but it's awesome and I wouldn't change it for the world. That lady she's taught me how to be so organized and like detail oriented and so thorough, and like she's so generous and giving, and like all these amazing qualities from her. And so ever since I moved from New York, I left most of my plants in her care because she is also a plant lady. And my grandma before her she is still alive. God, she's also a plant lady. My grandma, I'm sorry.
You're
I'm
from
bumping
like a
into
generations of plant people.
Yeah. So my grandma, she's from the Dominican Republic. So is my mom. They were both born over there. And there's in my grandma's house or her apartment, when you walk into her place, she's got these 2 giant peace lilies, and they're like about 4 or 5 feet tall. And she's grown them indoors, and they just look so massive. They look like actual like plantain trees or banana trees, but they're just peace lilies that have grown in her care. And she's always had plants around in her apartment. And then my mom also had like similar plants to her, and they only had a small selection. And I think people's plant collection is like a portfolio of their way of seeing life and art or something. Like the foliage is like,
it doesn't bode well for me.
sorry.
My portfolio is sad.
You got a little pepper. You
There's
got
a lot
little
of crusty
spicy
leaves.
We don't talk about the pepper plant. My goth plant is doing well.
God plant's doing great.
See,
The peppers are not.
the
but
peppers
let's
are really...
Forget about the peppers.
It's okay. I feel like it's all trial and error. All of it is. We just have to, the plants teach us so much if we actually pay attention. Like we just need to learn to let go. If it died, it died. It'll come again. Like it's a constant cycle of death and rebirth. So take it with a grain of salt. It's true though. The plants do talk to us. We just have to learn how to listen.
Yeah.
For real.
You know what I've gotten the habit of doing is taking my plants to the point of near death and then bringing them back to life. And
You see,
I don't know.
Don't you feel really good about that though when
yeah,
that
but
happens?
I kind of caused them, like I buy the plant, I set them up, and then they're instantly like, we hate you and we're going to die. And I eke them by until they're almost dead, and then they slowly come back to life.
But that's,
I don't know what
you
that says
learning.
about
That's
me.
them there. That's how they communicate with you. Like, hey, you're doing something really wrong to us.
I
Do it different.
put you in my little apartment and you hated it.
I have a question though. Are you doing this on purpose, like for the control of it, like an angel of death
No,
situation
No,
where you like
but I
bring them to
feel
the
like
brink
the
of
angel of
death,
death. I feel like an angel of
just
death.
so you can nurse them back to health?
You know, you can talk to them, right? Like you can tell them, hey, I have really good intentions for you. I want to love you. Love me back. And
I had to do
you'd
that
be
with my
surprised.
alopecia because this thing, no matter what I do, it just hates me.
Yeah,
I'm
my
just like, what have I done?
Talk to her. Talk to
Yeah.
her.
All right,
Say
let's
her.
get back on track
Okay.
before we keep talking about plants
Okay.
more because we will get to the plants. We'll get to the plants.
Yes.
But Karen, all right, around what time, like, was it the last like year or so where you started to like really think about ADHD and realize that all these traits that you'd had your whole life
yes.
that like actually were like, oh, this could actually be a thing. I could actually have like a brain difference.
Well, yeah, since I'm from New York, I'm from Brooklyn. It's a really chaotic city to live in, period. Like you just grow up, period. You grow up with this thick skin or this layer of like, armor that you walk. But regardless, I come up here I moved here in the August of 2020 and I came up here and I started realizing that life here is just so different to what it's like in Brooklyn, New York. It's like, there's so much peace up here.
Mainers
And-
are a low-key people.
They're so kind too.
Yeah.
Kindness. The
Well,
kindness.
because we're
is
so close to Canada, it kind of like rubs off on us, We're always apologizing for things.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, I don't know. Don't apologize.
That's my
for something you
theory.
don't
That's
mean.
my theory is because we're so close to Canada that
Well, Canadians also have a false kindness about them.
Yeah,
I feel
didn't
like.
they take the Native Americans' land?
Yes.
yeah, that's like a kind of a huge issue.
They're like America, but they slap a smile on and
Yeah.
say sorry a lot. And we're like, they're so much nicer than us. But I think they're just like,
No, they
just
just have
as
a
bad
better
as we are.
system than we do. They have free insurance and fucking free
Yeah,
school.
they- at
That's
least
it.
they
make
have,
them,
like,
they're happier for that
paid
sense.
maternity leave,
yeah,
which is nice.
they treat their people slightly better if you're a white person, I guess.
Very true.
Yeah.
If you're a white person.
All right. Yes. Anyways, you moved up here.
Whereas in America, we treat everybody unkindly.
Yeah.
But especially,
But it's
people
even more
who aren't
so
white.
for people who
Yeah.
are not
Yes.
white. Yeah. Okay, so I haven't made a point for America. Sorry. Okay,
all right,
keep
you
going,
moved
Karen.
up here.
Sorry.
No
Yeah,
derailing.
no.
You-
So
You moved up here.
I moved up here.
You
away-
loved it.
Away from, I did. I moved from New York. I moved up here and I moved away from my mom and my family. My cousins were my best friends, right? So I basically removed myself or uprooted myself, not removed. I uprooted myself and planted myself here. And I realized that not everyone thinks the same way we do. And not everyone behaves the same way we do. And all these things that I thought were normal. And it's like, no, that's just how we function. And it's like, okay, it was an adjustment. And I'm like, all right. And then I started doing a little bit more of self-reflection and just like living here and realizing how I want to live my life and not based on my surroundings or my environment, but based on what makes me happy. Kind of like my fucking plants, right? I don't want to get to plants again.
Enough with the plants
Enough.
drop.
Enough.
It's a Plantpisode.
Yes.
Use every plant analogy you want.
I'm telling you, the plants fucking teach you a lot.
I
But
believe
yes,
you.
If
Grace,
you're
I
not
don't think you've
thriving,
learned anything
if
from
you're
your
not
plants,
thriving,
No.
to be honest.
perfect example. I have, you know how they say New York is the greatest city in the world and all this stuff, right? I worked in these jobs that were essentially good because I was able to get by, but I was also like floating, right? Like the water was like barely above, like, so you're supposed to be doing great over there. But once I moved up here, I was in a better environment, and not just for my mind, but like around me, just like I was able to strip everything that I thought was the end all and be all. And I started making my own life, which was a nice opportunity. It was a nice reset. And I am able to, I get to choose who I want to be. I'm not who I was or the things I've done in the past, which is awesome. Every day I wake up, I can be whoever the hell I want to be. Like, that's how I feel up here. And that's the life I want to live, a free life. I feel like I don't want to feel trapped in a box or a square or whatever. I'm a fucking star. That's what I feel like.
You are a fucking star.
You are. I don't fit anywhere. Being away from my mom, I feel like was a big thing for me. Like my behaviors remind me so much of her. And because they're so different and so specific, it's like, wow. So I suspect her being ADHD for sure, because she can never stay still. She's always constantly cleaning or like doing something. She can't stay still. She's always like helping people or like doing something and like hanging out with her friends or driving her friends here or there. Or like, and she doesn't have any free time. I feel like she just gives her free time But yeah, that's besides the point. My mom's
Do you
behaviors
think,
made me
I'm sorry to
realize mine.
interrupt you, but
Yeah.
do you think that because you grew up in a family, especially with your mom exhibiting these behaviors, maybe that's why it took you until like adulthood to really realize that like, oh, my brain works differently than others?
For sure.
Because you're just constantly surrounded by other people whose brain kind of vibes on the same level as yours.
I feel like shortcuts, like things that you learn along the way that just make life easier.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom just has like a safety box of like shit to make your life easier. And it's like, well, why would you do it that way when you could do it this way and like live a much happier life?
Mm-hmm.
So like over the time we've accumulated this a safety box of just like these
tackle box.
Yeah, like
toolbox.
Just fucking, yeah, like tool, like they're just tools, and you use them if you want. I don't want. Why am I gonna cry?
That's okay.
That's okay.
Let it flow, man.
Yeah, this is the Planet Fitness podcast. This is a judgment-free zone.
Yo, don't call it that.
I know it's a bad analogy. This is a safe space.
I'm sweating.
Yes.
My armpits are sweating.
It's
I just
hot
miss
in
my
here.
mom.
Oh,
that's so
that's
sweet.
all right.
Let the emotions fly. This is
Yeah.
a Pod Loft safe space. How about
Safe
that?
space.
Not Planet Fitness.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't go there on purpose because no. Fuck
I'm still
Planet
paying
Fitness.
for my membership.
Why? Don't give your money to these people.
I
I
gotta
know.
get rid of it. I gotta get rid of it.
Go. They want you to go in person too, but do it. I don't want to go here anymore.
I know.
Stop
I
giving you
can't
my
go in
money.
person. I just don't want to. But I will. I will eventually do that.
All right, going back to ADHD, what ADHD traits did you notice in yourself, or what are the biggest ones that you notice in yourself? They could be both positive and negative, or not negative, but I guess the more difficult ones that you've had to kind of develop workarounds around. What are like some of your biggest ADHD traits?
Well, I stated my first one is just that I'm so scatterbrained. Like, clearly, I'm sure if you've been listening to this podcast, you can tell that I can go a mile a fucking minute anywhere in any direction at any moment. And it's just like, I'm a dog with a squirrel, like, you know?
You have non-linear thinking.
Yes, there you go.
You get
Thank
a web
for
brain.
putting-
Yeah, web
brain.
brain.
Exactly. That's how I
Yeah.
see my neurons. They're just all
Yeah.
connected. Like, oh, everything just lights up all at the same time. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, can I just share all the shit that just came into my brain?
Yeah.
And then
It's a
being
web.
a visual learner doesn't help because it's like all these freaking slides go on the PowerPoint screen. And it's like, hey, you guys have to see what the fuck is going on it's fucking in my brain. But I think for my mom, I think empathy and resilience is.
Don't
you know,
just talk about your mom, though, because I see that in you
I-
too. And
Yeah,
I know that you're
also-
deflecting.
you're deflecting, but you are very empathetic.
You have that too. The positive traits that you see in your mom, I guarantee that we also see in you. So I see you as an incredibly empathetic person who always just wants to like help people and uplift people. You're just such a positive, like you're literally the most positive
You
person
want
I
to know
know.
why the fuck I'm
Positive.
crying? Because I swear Grace is my fucking therapist. I
That's
should
with mine
probably
too,
really get- I should probably get a therapist for sure.
Yeah, I am not licensed or qualified, but I'll do.
Well, I guess that kind of leads us to our next segment, you know, with your mental health, and it doesn't have to be just ADHD. What therapies, and they could be medication or non-medication, have you tried? What works, and what are you doing now?
Like for your ADHD.
So-
Or I guess, yeah, particularly for your ADHD, but if you got something for anxiety, roll that one over this way because I need something.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one for anxiety because I don't fucking know. That shit's a mind fuck. But I'd say having having a routine or trying, you know, not succeeding every fucking day because that's just what is it? Not impossible, but it's just unrealistic for all for the roller coaster that I feel my life is, right? My emotions every day. I wake up majority of the time in a really good mood, and I feel like, especially when the sun is out, I feel like I am a whole new person, and it's just like I feel more alive, and I want to share that with the fucking world. Like I want everyone to know, and I'm having the highest high of my life, just being high off life, right? And also marijuana, because marijuana makes me a better fucking person. I swear to God, fight me on it.
Same.
You can't.
Oh, I won't fight you on it. But I will smoke a joint with you.
Yeah, heck yeah. Or young bog. I like say it nice name like that.
I'll have a glass of wine. Everybody's got a vice. It might happen to
you
be
gave me
caffeine.
quite some wine.
I did give you a lot of wine.
Yeah, and I chugged that
Import.
shit back. And let me tell you, that kombucha the next day really did me good because I thought I was going to be hungover,
Yeah.
and I wasn't.
I don't know
It's a
what
magical
I did.
elixir.
It really
I was
is.
not
I would feel like
hungover,
shit with the
even
amount of
though
wine that I had. Usually, wine hangovers are my worst for some reason.
wine drunk is so fun, but the hangover is so bad.
Yeah, but kombucha just saves your life.
It does.
I gotta go
does.
invest in kombucha.
You've converted me.
Yeah.
Find a taste that you like.
Yeah.
Flavor a taste.
I
Jesus.
do like the flavors. I think, with your kombucha, you only drink like a little bit of it.
No, I
think
took the whole thing.
you drink the whole thing.
Yeah,
I think I can't get through like a whole bottle. I need like
I could with that passion fruit one. I definitely could.
I'll have to try.
Don't
the
think of it
passion
as
good.
kombucha. Just think of it as a sparkling drink or a mocktail.
I think
or
the
something.
kombucha will take me, I guess like maybe I'm just a slow drinker when it comes to kombucha.
Do
It
you?
will like take me the entire day to get through.
I was gonna say, do you find it? I find that when you're holding on to something, you're more likely to drink it.
Just
I
to
get a
one
drink it.
straw.
sitting, yeah.
I drink if it's in a straw, it goes down really easy.
All right, back to systems that help you
Oh,
yeah,
manage
yeah.
yourself.
So,
So Karen,
routine is
Yeah. So a morning routine usually, because like I said, with the sun, you rise with the sun. I feel like that for me, I am a morning person. I feel like that's sometimes when I find my most my productivity be really increased. I don't know how to put words sometimes into a sentence.
that's all right.
you're in the right place.
You get it, right?
We get it. Our listeners get it, and we get it.
So I like to journal and I like to do yoga in the morning because 89 or 90% of the 1% difference. Jesus.
89% of the time.
Jesus. I'd say 90% of the time after I journal and write just, 3 simple things that I'm grateful for and a few affirmations that kind of like put me in a better mindset before I even get out of bed. Or actually, that's a lie. I get out of bed and then I do it because I tell myself, okay, you can't make the bed until you journal. So then I journal and then make the bed because I have to give myself cues like that. Otherwise I forget. It's like leaving a drawer. Like you ever leave the fridge door open when you go get something and someone goes close it for you and you forget that you were going to put something in there?
I'm the one who closes the fridge door. So talk to Ian.
I leave it open because I know I'm going to put this damn thing back when I finish. And if the door's closed, I'm just going to forget. Or unless it's in my hand. But whatever. There's just like certain cues that I give myself.
It's almost like you have little rituals that you do.
Yes,
That's what it sounds
that work
like.
for me.
Yeah, that work
and
for
no
you.
one else.
and that's fine as long as it works. What do you think your biggest struggle with ADHD is?
Staying consistent with anything.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Yeah, like things that make me happy, like things that give me joy. It's hard to stay consistent with those things, even though I know I like them. Same with food. It's hard for me to have I forget all the foods that I like, however healthy or not healthy they are. Like it's just out of sight, out of mind for me. It's kind of annoying, really.
So you forget to eat.
I do forget to eat. Look at me this morning. Yeah, I just got up and went straight to work and just completely forgot that I should probably have something to eat if I'm going to be out on the whole day. And I didn't. I just brought my water with me, my emotional support water bottle. And
Oh, yeah. I know the struggle.
Yeah.
Well, Karen, also, I know that when you and I first kind of started to talk about ADHD too, one of the big things that got you thinking like, wait a minute, I could also have this, is that you and I would talk about not only like forgetting to eat, but also forgetting what foods you like and how we have these like staples that we build in every day. But then if you don't eat them every day, it's like you forget even what the most simple, your favorite foods of all time, you just like forget about them. And so, trying to create some kind of visual to remind us of what foods we even like. But I remember that as one of the things that's like such a weird trait that before you knew it was ADHD, I'm sure you were like, why would I forget?
Yeah.
Like what a weird thing to forget that I like cheese or whatever. But so I remember
hard-boiled egg. It was HBEs. HBEs. I was like, how do I forget that I like boiled eggs? They're so fucking simple. They're so easy. They're great.
good.
They're healthy, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do I struggle having breakfast when I know what breakfast foods I like?
HBs are a good staple. Just a little pro tip out there.
Yeah.
I like to have mine with apple cider vinegar because of my mom.
I'm not judging you. I just said I'd never heard of that before till today.
Well, I'm taking it with her. She actually tastes really good. I like them.
I will consider it.
Slice them in half, a little salt and pepper.
And then
Don't be
my
scared.
last question is, what do you think your greatest strength is in relation to your ADHD? What do you think your ADHD like brings to the table, I guess?
Oh, I feel like this was tough because
I've got a lot I could say about you, but I would like to hear your opinion on that.
I'd say my ability to do or to carry a large tray of a lot of tasks. I don't know why. Like I'm not supposed to use my brain as a to-do list, but if I focus or I want to do all these things, I will make sure that I do them. And it just like I can't stop until I do. And not, let me correct myself. That's a false statement because there are a lot of things that I want to do that I should do that I don't. But my ability to balance, I think juggling and then trying to be good at the same time at all those things, because I don't like disappointing and failing. It just makes me feel like that's a bad reflection of me. And I know that I should just take all the fucking flaws with it, but who likes flaws? That shit's annoying.
I think that's surprising because I think a lot of other people that we've talked to with ADHD have said the opposite, where like it's really hard to juggle multiple things at once. It's very easy to hyper focus on one particular little thing, but juggling multiple things at the same time seems to be, I think that's a struggle for anyone. So I think that's great. That's unique and that's fantastic. I'm glad that you're good with that.
Yeah, I find it I don't know how, but I sometimes feel like I'm an octopus, depending. I mean, I think the marijuana really does help.
I would love to be an octopus.
You know, it felt really fucking cool. And I wasn't hallucinating or anything. I was just in a weird mood of being able to function at different things and tackle a few things at the same time. That sounds crazy.
No, I know what you mean. I feel like sometimes you just like get in that zone where it's like hyper-focus. It's like hyper-focus plus multitasking where I'm like zipping around and I'm doing that and I'm doing this.
Exactly what I'm
like
talking about.
Half finishing this, half finishing that.
It's like, oh, don't forget to fucking vacuum there. Boom. Pull the vacuum out, leave it there so that you could see it later and then you know that you have to fucking vacuum so you don't forget. And then boom, boom, boom. Like you just start boom, boom. Like just target. Everything just is connected.
I feel like I have like 2 days like that every month. I'm sure it's connected to my hormones and period.
Yes.
But I feel like I have like 1 or 2 days where I'm like, I am a superhuman. And I'm getting like
I've done all the
my whole like months long to-do list done in one day.
I think our hormone levels definitely have an effect on our productivity and our career and all this stuff. Like
they do.
Our moods and everything. So absolutely, we have our days, and I think I hyper focus really. Like, don't get me wrong. When I have a lot of things to balance, I do stress myself out really fast. I can get overwhelmed easily. Like I don't even know where to start or where to begin, and it's like all the mess. It's like I have to make a bigger mess to understand how to figure it out. But it's weird.
I feel that. Something I want to work on and that I want to learn about, and I'll definitely talk about it on the podcast if and when I do, is working with your hormones. There's a lot, or not a lot. I've come across a few different people who have ADHD and talk about working with your hormones, especially when you have ADHD, because like you said, it impacts our ability to like function for the day. It impacts our consistency. And so instead of expecting that consistency from ourselves, this every single day I do this routine, kind of going with that flow of our hormones and knowing that, okay, on Wednesday, that should be the day that I like have that superhuman day. And I can really like use that to my advantage and get a lot of stuff done. And then on a day where it looks like I have a big dip, not putting pressure on myself to get all the shit done and giving yourself that permission will like make those big days better and the low days much easier.
I love the sound of it. It's like living in harmony with your body. And just in tune with.
So almost like you're tracking your ovulation, but instead to get pregnant, you're trying to do tasks.
You're trying to live your best life. You're trying
that's
to thrive.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I've never really thought about it like that before.
You get to take it easy on the days that you're supposed to take it easy. And then on the days that you feel like you might be able to have a little bit more energy, you try it then.
Yeah. Cool. I'm not trying to get pregnant though, because like Kristin likes to say, I am my own baby.
We are each other's babies, I think.
I don't need any more.
We don't need any more.
Just trying to help myself first.
Yeah.
No, I want to be selfish with my time for a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
I know when I'm ready, I'll be ready or whatever.
I've got my plants and my cats. And
my mom is desperate. Everyone's desperate. I am not.
No. Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
I still feel like
they all
a child.
wish it on me. It's weird. Why do you wish that on me?
I know.
You know what it does.
Here's what my mom said before. So Ian and I were have been living at my parents' house for a little bit while we're in the transition period. While we're in the transition period of getting a house. But before we moved in with them, my mom, who knows who I am, she's like, yeah, I always wanted you and Ian to like have grandkids for us soon. But after living with you guys for a couple months, I don't know if you're ready. I was like, yeah, I told you. So that was kind of comforting in a weird way.
Thanks,
I'm like, I'm glad you can acknowledge that my executive functioning is fucking terrible, even just like literally taking care of myself. So thank you for not putting that on me. All right, shall we do a long and awkward transition?
Yes.
How should we transition? Karen, we've been struggling with transitions.
Yeah,
I know. I listen to you guys in the car and I just sing along with you. Transition!
That's perfect.
That's great. That's great.
Every time I think of the word transition, I just think of transition!
All right, I think that's a good transition.
All right, there you go.
All right, welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, that felt good.
Yeah, it's nice to transition like that so abruptly.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a hard, abrupt transition.
Smooth transitions are for suckers.
True that. All right, it's time to get into those fun, funky segments.
Yee.
So, like always, we're going to start with little accomplishments.
Little accomplishments, but big in our hearts. Yay! Hey, we have like a communal accomplishment this week, which is kind of nice. We haven't had one of those
Ever.
Since, well, I was going to say since Ian's episode, but that was quirks.
That was a quirk.
Yeah.
That was a communal quirk.
So we have a communal little accomplishment.
A commune accomplishment.
I like it. I'll let you ride.
Commune accomplishment.
Accomplishment.
Yeah, welcome to our
Yeah, everybody's gonna follow along.
All right, so Karen, do you want to tell us about what our communal learning loaf was?
Yeah, that was
Our communal.
Our communal accomplishment called a learning loaf.
Yes.
It was called a learning loaf for fun reasons. I don't remember why.
I forget why.
The story is stupid. It was just me and Gracie taking a joke way too far.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah,
I like it.
Like most things here at the Wove. It's just us taking a joke too far.
Well, it was fucking awesome. It was my first time experiencing something like that. And we all created a PowerPoint, which I'm really proud of. We did a fucking awesome job. Those things. I learned so much.
Relearned how to do a PowerPoint.
Same. I hadn't done one since like 2012.
Yeah.
Because I dropped out of college.
Hell yeah, man.
Said, fuck you. I'm not stupid. You're not going to tell me I'm not smart. Fuck you.
Stick it to the man.
Yeah, he
so
was a man.
On this last Saturday, we got together with, it was us and our friend Gracie, and we did something that we have dubbed the Learning Loaf, where we come together and we all have created a PowerPoint about a different topic that we wanted
It was like
to
a
teach everyone
TikTok
about.
trend, right? Like from like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
From
right?
a long, like longer than that.
Longer than that, where everybody was making like PowerPoint presentations about fun topics.
And so like the millennials we are, we said, perfect, it's been about a year since this was trendy, so now it's time for us to jump on in.
Yeah. It's like when things show up on TikTok first and you find them on Instagram like weeks later.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I found it now.
Oh God, are we Instagramming this analogy?
Yeah.
At least we're not Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all made a PowerPoint. I was proud of us for actually following through on it. I was like, am I actually going to do this? But I did.
We all did. I'm so surprised with myself and with all of you, and I hope you don't take offense to that.
No, it was
it's a surprise to me as well.
It was awesome. I had spent the previous day, because of course I procrastinated till the very last possible second.
Same, I also did mine on Friday.
Hyper focused so hard, and I did the PowerPoint within the next morning I put it all together. Well, majority, whatever. Point is, I finished the morning of, and that was so much fun. I learned so much from all of our topics, which were...
I know. I wish Gracie took notes, and I'm jealous that she took notes.
Maybe we could start some kind of like Google Drive for the Learning Loaf.
A
where
loaf
like keep
drive,
all our,
a Google loaf.
A Google Loaf.
There
where we
go.
keep all of our loaf notes.
I like
That's
it.
perfect.
Yeah. And the other part of the Learning Loaf that not all of us follow through on, looking at you, Kristin, is we were supposed to bring a loaf-like item, a bakery good.
I totally missed that
cake
part
was
of the
good.
conversation, and I just showed up
convenient.
with like 3 bottles of wine, and I called it a day.
It was a moist cake.
It was a wet cake.
It was a wet cake.
We
That was
got
good.
some wet cake. Gracie made a looks-only sourdough loaf
Yeah,
of
not
bread.
fit for eating.
And then she put her glasses on it and actually looked
was
learning
cute,
loaf. It was so
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then you brought croissants.
Croissants. Yep. So
And I brought nothing. You're
You brought
welcome.
wine. You brought the wine.
I did bring wine, but I did not bring a loaf.
I didn't bring a loaf either. Mine was like the cake. And it wasn't really,
Yeah, but
we
it was-
call it wet, but it was just a
It
moist
was
cake.
like
He was
a
just going with
very
the word
good
moist, which I would
cake.
never
It was
understand.
so good, though.
It
Yeah,
was.
it was good.
So
We
yeah.
finished it.
Yeah.
Good
And that was
job,
our
all.
little accomplishment.
That was our little accomplishment.
Go us.
Yay. All right. Do you want to get into your quirks, not our quirks, just Karen quirks?
I'm only sharing my quirks.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
We share
And
quirks all the time.
Karen's doing something different. She has chose to sing rather than kazoo.
Finally,
Yeah.
someone joins me in
What?
the terrible singing.
She's
They might have-
a
I didn't know.
trendsetter, or not a trendsetter.
You're the second one in this trend. I'm the original trendsetter.
Yeah.
And you are my first disciple.
Okay.
That just came to me as I was talking.
There, that's perfect.
It feels right, though.
Yeah, that feels good. You're disciple number 1.
Yeah. All right, let's crack into that song.
All right, let me get my little kazoo out. I'm a lone kazoo.
Some people call me spacey, some people call me fun, but I'm just quirky.
Yay!
That was really
Aw.
loud.
I think that went well.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
Good job.
I
Karen.
didn't say the wrong word.
No, you got
Yeah,
it.
you got
nailed
it. Nailed it.
Finally, someone to join me in singing. That was lovely.
That was so much fun.
All right, so Karen, you're a pretty quirky gal. Why don't you tell us some of those quirks?
Sure. So I make up my own lyrics to songs because I don't know why. Actually, there is no because. I just do. It's part of who I am. I'm really good with sounds, and sometimes if I'm looking for a song that I want to hear, I just play it over and over and over and over and over until I actually play it on my Spotify, and then I will stop singing it. But in the meantime, while I'm looking for it, I'm just filling it in with whatever words match with the same amount of syllables that the song requires. And I make up my own lyrics. And sometimes Brendan's my husband. Yeah.
Ooh.
I can say that now.
Newlyweds.
Yeah, newlyweds.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need a newlywed bell. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, often we're going to have newlyweds.
Yeah, just probably just
I don't know if we need a specific bell.
I'm going to buy a newlywed bell.
All right, go
It
ahead.
will ring once.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I had to ask him what my quirk was, and that's what he mentioned because I forget. Sometimes it's hard for me to, look at myself from a different person. Like,
Well-
what is quirky? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what did you think our song was? Our intro song.
Yes.
Yes.
What's it? How does it go?
Oh, if you forgot why you came in this room.
Jesus Christ.
Karen just told us this
This
morning.
morning.
For as long as this podcast has been alive, I have thought that the intro song says, if you fork out why you came in this room and you're hypersensitive to touch. This whole time I thought there was a fucking fork, and I'm a visual fucking thinker. So of course I pictured, me with a fucking fork in my hand, digging into my brain and figuring out, oh, I remember why I came into this room. Like, that doesn't apply to me. I
That
don't get
common
that.
phrase of digging a fork into your brain.
Yeah, when you fork out why you came in this room.
I can't. I just spit everywhere. I'm sorry.
But it makes sense. I like if you fork out why you came in
Yeah, it's like, yo, you know how hard it is to figure out why the fuck you came into that room? Like,
You gotta
if
fork that
Yeah,
out.
like, yo, that takes skill. I was like, yo, nah.
We might have to
If you
change
fork
Yeah, I think we
out
might
why
have to
you
go
came-
back. Where's Steve? We need him to redo the song.
I know. I love that. All right, quirk number 2.
Yeah. So, yeah, I hyper focus on my problems. If there isn't a solution, or if I don't find a solution, I will continue searching until I do. And it's annoying because last night, for example, I could have been in bed about maybe more than 30 minutes before the time I actually went to sleep. But it's because I was looking for something I misplaced. And it was our bowl. And that wasn't me. It was Brendan, I'm sure.
Cereal bowl, right?
Yes.
No,
No.
We've
Your
already talked
favorite
about weed.
cereal bowl.
Yeah.
You couldn't find it.
She can't sleep without it.
And you know what? You would think the way I was searching for that shit frantically, I went to the basement 2 or 3 times. I don't even fucking know. I just know that I went more than I should have. And I just should not have looked as hard. I never found it, by the way. I did not find it.
Oh, it's still missing?
It's still missing.
MIA.
And it's going to be so funny when it pops
How
up.
are you going to eat your cereal?
Good thing. You ever had those cereal bowls that have the straw in it and you could drink your milk? Cereal?
No, it's not allowed here.
Oh,
That's one of your things.
that's right. You guys don't like bananas either. Right?
I like
me.
banana. I don't like fake banana.
Yeah, and you will not be drinking milk around me. All right, and Karen, tell us that quirk number 3 that I've been very excited for you to tell on this podcast.
It hurts a little bit, but it's funny now. When we got married at City Hall, we treated ourselves to a really nice trip to the Dominican Republic, to Punta Cana, and we were so excited to go. And we get to the airport. We didn't check in before because we were just so busy. Our parents were all together in the same room for the first time in many, 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 many years. And it was a lot to take in. And it was, we wanted to rest and relax on a beach.
We're getting married.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Where's our bell?
Where's your fucking
Where's
bell?
our newlywed bell?
Ding that thing. Yeah, we didn't check in prior because we were just so tired. So we went to sleep. We wake up the next day really fucking early, get to the airport. And after the panic, it was like, hey, everyone was on the New Jersey flight at 6:10. Get up here. And we tried checking in and she says, your flight, I don't see your flight. I'm like, oh, here's our confirmation number. She's like, well, your flight's not until March 24th, not February 24th. So
Oh my God.
We froze. You couldn't see my face because I was wearing a mask, but if you seen my face, you would have she probably would have let me. She would have let me through. But no, she was like, "There's nothing I can't help you." And then at that point, it really sank in, and I was like, "You guys fucked up. What the fuck? What? How do you fuck up this bad? You already booked your reservation for the right dates. Why does your flight not match?" And I just think we were just overwhelmed by all the tabs that we had open, and I don't know.
So you didn't go to Punta Cana?
No, we didn't. No.
Are you going?
Yeah, we're still going. We're going in 10 days.
Yeah, March 24th.
Yeah, exactly.
As intended.
I'm sure everything happens the way it should, but it was every step I took away from the airport, rolling my bag away from the airport to the car in the cold fucking weather.
So, probably at like 6 a.m.
You're like already in shorts.
Crack of dawn, bro. I was watching the sunrise.
You've got your sunglasses and sun hat on.
So happy to be married.
Over for like a snow cap.
Yeah, we were so ready for this, but you should have. But what? We will still have it. It's fine.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Karen.
That's really disheartening.
Yeah, it's my first time. It was our first time ever doing something. We both share the blame. It's not just my fault or his fault. We did it together, and we're a team.
You know what? You guys are so fucking quirky.
Quirky.
so quirky.
A whole month.
Booking the wrong flight.
That reminds me of Ian taking his car in like 3 weeks early, but like so much on a much higher level.
Yes. You know what pisses me off the most is like, that's called a confirmation ticket, or like we didn't confirm confirmation. Like
you were so confident, you're like, we got it.
No, I was so confident. I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to check in shit. We booked this like 3-4 weeks ago. Like we were so prepared. No, you fucking weren't.
Oh, Karen,
you're so quirky.
Sorry for laughing at your pain, but
it is really
just
funny.
like a classic ADHD. Mix them up.
Mix them up a month later.
Yeah.
It didn't feel great to ruin my honeymoon.
Yeah, but it's going to feel so much better when you get back to the airport and you're like, we're back.
Yeah, I want to go to the same bitch. Like, find me now. Look for my name.
Look for the confirmation number. I've confirmed.
Yes. I don't even want to think about it. I'm just so excited. I am looking forward to it. We're very excited. I feel like we have something else to look forward to after that fuck up. So,
yeah, that's great that you still get to go.
You still get to go.
I'm so quirky.
You're so quirky, Karen. And speaking of quirky, let's get into that terrible hobby collector song.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna need a reminder. We got two. You can do the chicka 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 chicka, or you can do the.
Should we have her say that these are the collectors?
Oh
these are their hobbies?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah. I hope so.
Oh, that's much better than mine.
What?
I want to have you do that part.
Can I just do it with you guys? And then when you point at me, I do the, okay.
That's like exactly.
That's like,
man, our guests
once again
one-upping us. We're the worst people at every single part, but we do this.
It's embarrassing. All right,
you can start us
Karen,
whenever.
You do the drum. I'm just not going to do anything.
No, you should. I think we all should.
I want you to do it.
These are the collectors, and these are their hobbies.
Wrong segment.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to Hobby Collectors. It's the Plantpisode.
Plantpisode. You're outnumbered, Kristin.
I have no say.
Nope, sorry.
We're talking about plants, specifically house plants.
Do you have them?
Well, do ya?
To pull a classic Kristin line. So this hobby collectors, Karen and Kristin will be giving their plant advice to everyone, and I will just kind of sit here and keep my little mouth shut.
Well, no, you've got questions too.
I've got questions. I do not have answers.
Yeah,
but don't ask.
Ask your questions. We've got categories we wanted to talk about, and we'll go through them. But the categories are watering, sun, fertilizer, and plant types. And then we'll get into how we get started and stuff like that. Anywhoozle. Karen, how long have you had plants?
Wow. Why didn't I think of that before coming on this episode? It's been about, I want to say 4 to 5 years, going on 5 years.
Yeah.
It started with an avocado seed.
I
was very curious when I saw a Pinterest post about avocado that had sprouted in a cup of water. And I was like, wow, I can grow a tree in my house. I want to do this. It looks pretty and I like avocado.
Were you able to do that?
Yeah, it grew. It was my baby. I actually nurtured it. And I highly think that when you talk positive to a plant or even a seed, your energy is contagious, your energy transfers, and they received that, and the intention was for it to grow because I wanted it to grow. And granted, I maybe got lucky with a seed because not all seeds sprout, but that one did, and it grew into a nice tree, and I took care of that tree for a very long time. And then I killed it, and I learned what not to do with that plant now.
It's a circle of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with that plant came more plants because, of course, that one looked a little lonely.
They're addicting.
That one looked a little lonely, and so I got myself a snake plant. Not myself. I got the avocado plant, a snake plant, because it needed a partner. It needed company. Yeah. And so actually plants thrive more when you have them in groups because they feed off each other's energy, and there are positive energy. So
also, I heard it helps with like the humidity. If there's more plants, like if you get a bunch of bodies in a room, they're gonna
they're air purifiers, natural air purifiers.
Yeah, I think I started in grad school. I started with like herbs, so I started like basil and rosemary, and we just had like the perfect windowsill. And then once I went out west, I started with like bonsais and stuff. As please see our bonsai episode. I think it's episode 2. Episode 2. Yeah, and then I started with bonsais, and then once COVID hit, I was like, I got to get into like these leafy plants that everybody's talking about, and here I am. But yeah, I think I got a bunch of questions on Instagram. I got some texted to me. I was going to talk about a couple things my mom keeps doing wrong, even though I tell her it's wrong. She won't listen to me. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, thanks, audience, for sending in your questions. I think the most common one was, how often do you water?
I think it very much depends on the plant.
Same.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Do you have like a trick to figuring out?
Yes. So I think
do you do the finger? Do you finger your plants?
I like fingering my plants. Yeah. I think everyone has a preference. And some people don't like getting their hands dirty. So, there's these moisture meters that come with pH.
I have one. I they suck.
I just don't use it. Yeah.
If you really hate getting your hands dirty, maybe don't have plants. But
yeah, because you do have to get a little dirty to take care of them. But it's not something crazy. Like if you want to get a moisture meter, like the only reason I got that was because I was really trying to take care of my monstera, my bigger plants, like the monstera and the bird of paradise. Like those, they like to have their soil to be moist and not go dry out completely between watering. So that's something. And I used it to learn the plant's behavior, and then I just stopped using it because I learned how often to water her, like how quickly does her soil dry out. And then these are just things that you pick up with time, like communicating with the plant, like learning how its foliage behaves and all this stuff.
Right. I guess I'm not as great as a communicator as you are, but I do like the finger test, depending on how big the pot is. So my like smaller pots, I do just to your first knuck. Mm-hmm. And then for my bigger pots, I try to like squeeze my finger in all the way to the second knuck.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb.
And then if it feels cold or damp, then you're good. And if it doesn't, then you got to water that. Except for my peace lily, because she's a dramatic bitch, and we can talk about her later.
Can I throw in one little tip that I learned, that this probably seems like very common sense, but you never know what is common sense?
Yeah.
That you should not water your plant before it's about to be in the sun, right? Because that'll increase how much it dries up. So you shouldn't like water your plants like in the morning.
The sun will
I heard you should water your plants in the morning.
They say before the sun comes out. So before, like,
who has time for that? I water mine at night.
Farmers get up early.
Oh, well.
So the sun dries
night
up.
Plants.
They always say not to water them at night either.
Oh, well.
They say the best time is in the morning before the sun comes out, so that they have time for the soil to absorb the water, as opposed to the sun just like drying it with its heat.
Yeah. I guess with my plants, if I don't water them at night, they're not getting water, so they're going to have to deal. I love them, but they can't be too picky. I had another question about, specifically, I told one of my coworkers, thank you, Danielle, about, and I guess I just like mentioned this to her, and I like ran off and I didn't really explain it, but I told her, I gave her a plant, I gave her pothos, and I was like, oh, it's in like a nursery pot, and I was like, so you can easily butt chug it, and then I just ran away, and she's like, can you please explain what that is? And so that's in reference to top watering versus bottom watering. Grace, do you know what either of those are?
No.
Okay. So there's two different techniques to do watering. So top watering, it's you get a watering can, you water it from the top, the water goes down, the roots absorb it, up. Bottom watering, you can also do, if you have a pot with holes in the bottom, you should always have pots with holes in the bottom.
Despite how cute the pot is, if it does not have a hole,
do not buy it. Don't get it.
Unless you want to keep your plant in a nursery pot,
right?
And eventually, obviously, if it outgrows, make sure it's a bigger pot because you want to repot unless you want to change the plant that's in it anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it doesn't have a hole, I don't recommend.
You'll kill your plant. You can put them in a larger bowl of water or like fill up your sink or something, and then you just dunk them in, and then they'll absorb the water from the bottom.
I would leave the top, let's say the top inch of the pot outside of the water and just let it slowly absorb instead of submerging the whole pot in water. Just don't submerge the pot.
Don't submerge it. Well, you'll lose all your soil. It'll be a mess. But and then that way it keeps, some leaves are a little bit sensitive to water. They don't like to have water on them.
Water can be a little acidic for their
acidic and or they'll like mold. So I think big plants with that are like ferns, right? No, ferns really like moisture.
The African violet for sure does not like water on her leaves. She'll, like if the sun, because they like the sun, but if the water touches her leaves, it leaves like a bleached mark on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like, you can see the water droplets if you do.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. My staghorn fern, who I have an emotional bond with, I don't know if my staghorn fern knows that, but I'm very much attached to it. Likes moisture, so I like put it next to a humidifier. Does not like water on the leaves. So I have to, I don't really bottom water it. I kind of get the shower and I hold it kind of sideways because the pot I have it in is like actually an orchid pot. So it's very holy, like lots of holes. It's porous. And then I just spray the crap out of the thing.
Nice.
But yeah, bottom watering, you water it from the bottom, or some people call it butt chugging, and I guess that's not the official term.
I've never heard this term.
You never heard it called butt chugging?
In all my years.
I just thought that was like the slang terminology that everybody knew.
Oh, but it is now.
Well, now I have to stop telling people to butt chug their plants. Are people looking at me weird?
Well, because butt chug already has a meaning, and it means to take in alcohol for your butt.
Yeah,
but also, you know,
sure,
a lot of people like to
plants
shove
take
things in their butts often, so don't give people ideas.
Ooh.
Plants don't want to be in people's butts.
Yeah, no, that's
hot tip from Karen. Hot plant tip. Plants do not want to be in your butt.
Do not want to be in your butt. Okay. So another question Danielle asked me is she has all these windows in her house, but she doesn't feel like her plants are getting enough sun. And how does she know how much sun is good for the plant? And can she bring her indoor plants outside?
So I think a good way to gauge, depending on the plant, obviously, I always say that, but it's true. Reading the foliage on the plant, I think, is important. If the sun, so some plants can get sun stressed and they'll just be really dramatic and just like, even though you've just watered them and they're like doing something funny with their foliage, then that chances are they don't like where they are and they want to be moved to a different location. So try a different window or a different side of your house. Like you want to consider where it's north facing or east facing, like depending on what the plant likes, try to like mimic the environment that it thrives in.
Yeah, the south facing windows, right? Because that's morning. Those are, I've heard that's the best.
The best, yeah.
Because it's morning sun.
It's more exposure. It's a longer day.
Longer day. And west facing is a lot of sun, but it's a lot of like harsh afternoon sun. That's all my plants have west facing. And
so then when that's the case, just try to pull your plants further back from the window.
Some of them really, really like that because they're highlight plants, like the bonsais really like the sun. But the other ones I kind of pull back.
Yeah.
And then north facing is the least amount of light. So if you have a plant there, you just got to make sure it's something that can handle a lower light condition. And I also heard, this is what I learned on TikTok, you always want to make sure your plants have a view of the sky. Just because they're in a bright room, they just need to have a view of the sky. In like low light plants, still like light. They can handle low light conditions, but they would prefer to have more light.
Yeah, let's like if you're putting a plant for an office or like with fluorescent lighting, it'll survive there and it might push out like, you know, a vine, maybe a pothos would survive great, it's fine.
Right.
But it will thrive and it will do better if it was in the perfect conditions with sunlight and water.
Right.
So it's like when you're not taking your vitamins and you're eating like shit, like you're probably going to reflect that, and maybe when you change that around, you might feel different. And the plants also do that.
Right. So if it says low light, that doesn't mean it has to be in low light. Otherwise, it'll do poorly. It means it can survive in low light, but ideally, like I wouldn't kill it if I took a low light, quote unquote, low light plant and put it in more sunlight.
If anything, I would put a low light plant, I would just put it in indirect sunlight where it's not being immediately hit by the sun. Okay. And it's just getting, you know, a dusting of sun.
Right. And also I feel like every time I go to the big box stores like Home Depot or Lowe's, I feel like they put low light tags on all their plants, and you look at them and you're like, a bird of paradise is a really high light plant. They need a lot of light.
Finicky little bitches.
And
I got spider mites on one of mine twice.
They probably just want people to buy those because people are buying them for like offices because we're all stuck in tiny little square apartments and office buildings, and that is probably the best way to sell plants.
Right. So I would do your research first before you buy a plant. And I was going to say no impulse buying, but that's more of a do as I say, not as I do, because I am the biggest plant.
I was going to say, are you the one to give that advice?
Yeah, I am. I'm call my own self out. I am an impulse plant buyer.
I am for the impulse plant buying. If you see a plant that sings out to you, just like you need to have that plant, then that's a plant that is calling you for a reason. And I think you should explore that and see what you learn from it or how you like it. And maybe it'll just be a part of your portfolio. And with time, you grow that.
Maybe.
That's beautiful.
You can grow with a plant. See your progress.
So sun, south facing, to wrap it up, sun, south facing is the best. North is like, but make sure you have the right plant for the right window.
Yeah. You want to but if you have south facing windows, just, that you have the potential to have almost all kinds of plants.
Right. Whereas if you only have north, or if you're like kind of like in shadows because you're in like an apartment, maybe kind of like,
cold and gloomy.
Yeah. And if you want to get like really experienced, we can talk about grow lights, but maybe Karen, when you come back, we can talk about like more stuff.
Yeah.
But do you fertilize? Are you a fertilizer?
I did at one point when I was super obsessed and wanted the best for my plants.
Mm-hmm.
I did burn one of my palm plants but a palm plant, they said it was good for indoors, but it was seasonal, especially when I was living in New York. Like it thrives more in like south.
Palms are hard.
Yeah. And I tried. So I learned with that one, knowing that I can very well kill it. So I learned you can burn the shit out of a plant's roots. And so ever since then, I read the directions and I do less than what the directions say. Yeah. Just to be on the safe side.
Wait, how do you burn them? With the fertilizer?
Like fertilizer.
Yeah.
Too much nutrients are like just stuff.
It's like
crammed
too much retinol on your skin.
It's like you want to give them water, but like has like some nutrients in it just so that it can absorb it with time. But if you pack it with a ton of shit, it's like, oh my God, this is so much. We don't know what to do with it. And we don't have enough water to filter this shit out.
And there's a couple of different ways you can fertilize your plants. You can get those little spikes.
Oh, yeah.
You can do liquid fertilizer. That's what I do. I have like a little, because then you can dilute the living shit out of it. Or you could just buy like really fertile soil. And I think that's probably the easiest, is to buy like.
The only thing with fertile soil for me is just like, I feel like it stays too moist for too long and it doesn't dry up properly. And I just feel like.
I think for beginners though, if you're a beginner and you forget to water your plant for like weeks at a time, it's probably having like a moist, fertile soil might be best. I fertilize now that we're coming into spring, I used to fertilize my plants. In the winter, I fertilize them like once every 2 months, once every month. Now that we're in the spring, I got to up that to probably every other week to every week, especially with the bonsais, but that's a different thing.
That makes sense. I used to do it once a month, and it's only because I would use a whole gallon of water. Because I had a lot of plants in my apartment in Brooklyn. It was like above 50, and it would take me out like 3 hours to water.
Yeah, it's like a whole morning event for me to water. Yeah. I've broken it up because I have my main room plants and I have my bedroom plants.
It can get overwhelming.
I break it up. Bedroom plants are on one day, and then main room plants are on a different day.
Yeah, so I would use a gallon of water, and then I would filter the liquid fertilizer into it and dilute it, and then I would just make sure to have enough so that it would feed all the plants, and then I would just have them all fertilized at the same time, and then I would only do that once. Because I was just giving them time to adjust so I don't burn them all, and then they all can get a little bit of food. Yeah. As opposed to like packing some with more. If that makes sense.
I know Plant Daddy Podcast, those folks on that lovely podcast, they have a lot of tropical, I think they both have over 100. It's a lot. And they say that they're all mostly tropical, so they fertilize every time they water with just like the tiniest amount.
That makes sense. It's kind of like supplemental with vitamins.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Do you have any recommendations for beginner plants, for people who want to get into plants, but they're like, oh, I kill everything I touch?
Well, there's options. There's people who, like I said, like to be hands-on or like to get their hands dirty. Because being a plant parent kind of requires you to get your hands dirty sometimes. So you have to be comfortable with getting putting your hands in soil and kind of messing with mud and sometimes moving a little bit of roots around and separating, you know, just playing with plants. Like I like plants that I can touch. You can't touch all plants. I like cactus. I fucking hate cactus because I can't touch them.
We could spend a whole podcast talking about how much I hate succulents.
Yes.
I hate them.
Yeah.
The only one
succulents. They're the only ones I've had like success with.
You see, now this is why I feel like everybody has, like, you probably don't have to water them often. Obviously, you don't, right?
Yep.
So you probably are the perfect parent for a cactus because you don't have to worry about it.
I am a cactus person. They're meant for me.
Yeah.
Except I always poke myself, so I don't like cactus. I do like succulents, though.
The only succulent that I think is acceptable is a jade.
And an aloe. I feel like aloe is somewhat
aloe's
easier.
That's okay,
I don't have a successful aloe. I've killed 2. So I don't. I like them from afar.
I've stopped with the aloe. Yeah.
What kind of plant is my goth plant? Because I'm impressed with how long I've
That
been
is
alive.
a purple passion, and I'm really impressed because I gave Grace a purple passion plant, which is like, it looks like it's like purple velvety leaves, and it's really cool, and apparently has really stinky flowers once it starts to. Most people snip off all the flower buds because they're so foul smelling. Did I tell you that?
No.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Get ready.
Well, I'm excited for spring.
It has these orange flowers. The only thing about the purple passion is it lasts like a max of like 5 to 7 years. But I thought that was a pretty good goal for you.
Years longer than I've ever fucking kept any plant alive.
And
so
your plant, I don't know what direction that window is, but it is like thriving. I have mine in a west-facing window, but it's in like an area of high light, and it's doing okay. But yours is just like loving life, and I don't know why.
You know what? First of all, I talk to her. I do talk to her.
I'm going to talk to my plants.
I tell her she's a beautiful girl. I tell her she's growing nice and strong, and I'm so proud of her.
Beautiful.
And yeah, we call her.
What did
the
you
goth plant.
say to your chili pepper plant that died?
I said,
You're
I
a
don't care
dry
about
bitch.
you. Yeah.
I don't know what you said to that.
man.
You're a disappointment to all of us here in the family.
You suck the life out of everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
man.
Karen, I know you were talking about how plants do better when they're within a plant community. So it's probably not great for my other plants to keep that dead plant amongst my
Yeah,
living
it's
No.
like looking at a corpse.
Yeah.
I should probably
it's like,
get
oh
rid
my
of
God, that could be us at any moment. Well, let's panic all the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder if
stresses
this.
them out.
I wonder if this also applies to me keeping a collection of bones around my house. You know, in the same vein.
I wouldn't say that. Do you
That's
feel like it
different.
affects your energy? Do you feel like
No, I'm just
it makes you happy? So then no, it has.
I don't have any human skills, so I'm not like that's
No,
gonna
you're
be-
Not yet.
You've already
Ooh,
passed
not
through
yet.
the cycle of them rotting. You just have their remains. That's different.
So if I had like a plant skeleton, that'd be one thing. But like an actively dying / recently deceased plant is probably not the best.
Yeah,
people
probably
in my
not.
community.
yeah.
Probably
All right.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
one day I'll get rid of that.
Yeah.
Will one of you help me?
Yeah.
Just throw it away.
Yeah, I will do that
Someone
after
will
we
throw it away.
record. Yeah, I've been waiting for this moment for you to ask me to throw it away.
Don't even wait. Just
Okay.
if you see a dead plant, just be
Because
like,
I water all your other plants, and I feel bad about like actually deleting one of your plants.
it's deleted itself. / I deleted it. So just toss it.
All right.
All right.
But I think good starter plants are the pothos, which is a big viney one. I think that's like, if someone wants a pothos plant, I have plenty of clippings. I'll mail them to you or something if you want a pothos.
They are so easy.
So easy. I have one. It's in my grandmother gave it to me. It's huge. I've clipped it back so many times. It asks for nothing. I water it, maybe once a month. It's in a pot. It breaks all the rules. It's in a pot with no holes.
That's
I don't-
probably why you water once.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I've only repotted it once, and it just keeps delivering. It's great. It loves life, and I love it. And then a philodendron's another one. That one's great because there's so many philodendrons, and they all look different.
There's also a lot of pothos too. There's variations in all plants.
Oh,
There's
that's
like
right.
mutations.
The marble pothos.
Yes, marble
That's
queen.
marble
She's
queen.
a beauty, and it looks like a mutation, really.
Yeah, that's
It's
really
big.
cool.
Yeah.
But I like philodendrons. I think if I were to buy another, lately I've been only getting more bonsais, but if I were to buy another leafy plant, it would be another leafy philodendron.
I love those too. They're
I have a
heart-shaped leaves. and-
Heart-shaped leaves. I have one that's it's a Prince of Orange, and it's so cool.
Ooh, I
So when
love
it
that
makes a new leaf, it's orange, and eventually when it gets old, it turns green.
That's the one philodendron I don't have. I have the Micans, the original all green one, and the neon one. The neon one is so pretty. I can give you a clipping. I can propagate it.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah.
We can trade. I don't know if I can give you a clipping.
Oh, is it
The Prince of Orange I don't think it grows like a vine.
It grows up, right?
It grows up, so
Don't
it's a
worry.
little different. I'll give you a different clipping. I'll give you bonsai. I think those are the best ones. Snake plants are great.
Super low maintenance. You
Right.
can put them in a corner, forget about them for a month.
Right.
Or so.
And I think if you have a trouble figuring out when to water, I think peace lily's your best bet because they're so dramatic. These bitches will look like they are dead. They're so droopy. And then you give them like a little drop of water and they're like, oh, just kidding. Everything's fine.
See, that might be best for ADHDers because I
Yeah.
find that I only remember to water plants when I can physically see, like, oh, you're not doing so
I
great.
think I know what your next plant should be. It should
Yeah.
be an Oxalis triangularis. It's that purple one that goes to sleep at night, and they close. It's like 3
Ooh.
purple velvety looking leaves. They're actually an outdoor, and they're a little invasive, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but they're dramatic, and they will tell you, hey, bitch, you gotta water us because
That's what I need.
Hey,
and they flower sometimes. Little white cute
Oh.
flowers. Are
Okay.
you happy?
Yeah. I love my peace lily. I actually put my peace lily. I made a mistake and I put her in a terracotta pot, which I think I should have put her in a plastic pot because
So,
they
like, being-
require so much water.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a chronic overwaterer, so it kind of works out because I'm always watering her, but because I need to, because if I don't overwater her, I'll overwater someone else. Who cares?
Wait, will you explain real quick the terracotta thing?
Oh, okay. So terracotta pots are made out of clay and they're porous and they absorb water. So when you put a plant in a terracotta pot, the water will absorb through the pot and it will evaporate quicker. So if you have a plant that likes to be dry and have the roots dry out completely before you rewater it, you got to put that lady in a terracotta pot because it will help it dry out faster as instead of like a plastic pot, which will just kind of like hold moisture in.
And it only allows the air to escape from the top of the soil because the plastic kind of suffocates and traps everything in there.
Right. It sets yourself up for root rot, which is when the roots get like super moist and they just kind of rot away.
Which is how I killed my avocado plant.
Mm.
Learned the hard way.
I've so many root rot plants. The other question is like, how do you pick out a good plant? Was that one of Kylie's questions? What was her question?
Well, Kylie's question, hold on, give me
Kylie from Dark Down East, our friend,
Yes.
our pod queen.
Kylie was the one who first insisted that we
This
have
is
this segment so we can answer her
episode-
personal plant questions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just realized we never answered if we can bring indoor plants outside.
Oh, yes. That was another question that Danielle had. If we can bring indoor plants outside. And I would say yes, but with rules, with
Yeah.
conditions. And because indoor plants are not used to getting that much sunlight. So you don't want to like overwhelm them with sunlight because their leaves will burn. And my mom has done this multiple times, despite me saying, hey, you're burning your plants. If you bring an indoor plant outside to get more sun, make sure it's only out for like a little bit or it's not in like full sun. If it's in like a partial shade area and kind of monitor it until it kind of gets used to the outdoor stuff, outdoor light.
All right, I have a question coming to you from Kylie Lowe from Dark Down East, who personally requested / demanded that we make this segment and answer her personal plant questions.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So she wants to know, well, first of all, she has a question about transplanting, but before that, she wants to know if buying her plants at Trader Joe's is a sin.
I say no.
I say no.
No.
Everybody's like, you should get it from a local nursery. And that's, sometimes you don't have a local nursery near you or it's very expensive. And I think Trader Joe's has good plants.
They have a good plant selection.
Yeah.
and
I would say when you're picking out a plant, just look, it would be great to go to a local nursery, but just make sure you do your research. Or after you impulse buy it, do your research after.
Yeah.
And then
Or
the
let
big
it
thing
die.
is don't do what I do. You got to look for bugs because when you have plants grown at these like super facilities, they usually get bugs. So try to get one without bugs.
Yeah, you always want to check that for sure. Check the roots also. If you can pop it out, let it dry. You can look at the roots. Yeah.
I've never done that, but I should.
Yeah, check the underside of the leaves, check between the stems, like where the stems kind of meet where the trunk is at the bottom. You want to look around those crevices and then pull it out from its nursery pot and then check the roots because sometimes they can be hiding there before exposing themselves on the foliage.
I had no
I learned
idea.
that the hard way. I brought mealybugs up to my house
Oh,
with a
man,
Hoya.
I am still dealing with mealybugs, and I don't know if that one's going to
Get
survive.
alcohol, little cotton swabs with alcohol, and just kind of roll them away from it.
Oh,
You're kind of
I've been getting tweezers and picking them off one by
Get a
one.
Q-tip and dip it in alcohol. It just immediately kills them and also disinfects the area that they were in.
That's such a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go home. I gotta give it to my plants. Sorry.
All right,
This episode is over.
I'll finish the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
People will not be happy. All right, another question from Kylie is for transplanting pots.
Yes.
I know enough to know that we're doing this episode around springtime because spring is a time when it's not the best time, but it is a time when you can repot your plants without killing them.
Yes.
She wants to know how big of a pot are plants like goldfish and they will grow to the size of the tank they're in, and what kind of soil should she use? Basically, how do you
repot a plant?
Yeah.
So I say if you wait for it to be dry, you don't want to try to repot a plant that's already been watered. So a dry plant allows you to get rid of all the old soil while I would also say, I want to start with a tarp. Get a tarp because it can be messy. Okay, I've learned.
Or go outside.
Yeah.
If you have outside space.
I'm just so used to doing shit in my apartment.
Yeah, I just make a mess and I just clean it up.
Yeah, it could be messy. But yeah, so get get rid of the old soil.
Yeah, don't reuse the soil because it could have, it's probably all the nutrients are used up.
Exactly. It's just
get new stuff.
Sterile.
Yeah.
So you're going to like pull the plant, like gently work your way out,
Yeah.
but like pull the plant fully out of the dirt.
Yeah,
and, like,
a little trick I like to do is kind of like how I smashed our hard-boiled egg, just like roll it on its side,
Oh,
or
that's
put
a
it on the
great
side,
trick.
and then roll onto or gently push on the nursery pot so you can kind of like separate it from the roots, and then you can pop it out easy. And then from there, you just hold your plant above your head, and you're able to, not above your head, but like try so you can see underneath the roots so that you can get rid of all that old soil, shake it out or do whatever you have to do, but be gentle. And then with your fresh soil, you kind of want to see, depending on what plant you have, if it's a plant that likes to be dry, I'd get orchid bark and perlite and mix it with your soil and make it either aerated, or if it likes to it likes to be watered often, just get like the fertilized soil that Kristin mentioned, where it just it stays wet longer.
I would say for a plant beginner, I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, it's good, Phil.
I would get, if you're a plant beginner, I would get a classic potting soil mix. I would get extra orchid bark and I would get extra perlite, and I would just do
those are your three, yeah.
Like for every cup of soil, do like a half cup of perlite and a half cup of orchid bark.
Yeah.
And go from and like really mix it up, because then you get the aeration, and that would be good for like most house plants.
Yeah, it's like a general, like you're gonna purchase all these things. You're gonna have enough to make for a majority of your plants, depending how many you have. But yeah, like it'll be good to have that as a basic medium for most of your plants, because a lot of them don't like to sit in water. Roots tend to like just to be dry or not dry, but not sitting in water. So that'll be good.
And this is for indoor plants. I think outdoor plants are a completely different category.
Yeah, they like compost.
They like compost. They like to be wet. They like that's different. But for regular house plants, I would say get those three things. Mix up your soil and put it on in there. Make sure your pot has a hole. And what else does she shop?
Sorry, I don't know.
What else does she have for questions?
All right, I got one last question.
All right.
It's about how to like save a plant. She says, can you always just save a plant by picking off its dead leaves and watering it and hoping for the best?
Absolutely. I've done that so many times.
I would say yes and no if you're lucky. But you have to figure out, why is it dropping leaves? Sometimes plants just drop their old leaves. Sometimes you're overwatering it. Sometimes you're underwatering it. Sometimes it has bugs. Sometimes it has root rot. Sometimes it has something else.
Fungus in the soil, yeah.
Sometimes life sucks and you never figure it out. But I would say you gotta, if you start to
figure
see
out why it's happening to begin
with.
But
I had a bonsai that grew all these like weird black spots and I couldn't figure it out, and it was because I finally like went on all these bonsai forums, and it ended up being a micronutrient deficiency, and I had to switch fertilizers, making sure I had that said micronutrient. Totally fine after that.
Nice.
And I was like, are you kidding me? I think it was either iron or manganese, and I'm like, really?
Well, you learn how to communicate.
Yeah, you learn how to, and so sometimes it's very frustrating, and you don't figure it out, and it just dies. I've done emergency repots at like 11 o'clock at night, getting home from a long shift, and then you're like, well, this is dying.
And worst comes to worst, just throw it away, Kylie.
Yep.
Yeah, and sometimes if there's still green on them, I feel like there's still hope. All plants want to live, so when they're, just giving you a sign like, hey, there's something going on or something's wrong, do something different. Like check us out. Maybe check us for bugs. try like checking for pests like once a month or something if you really care. If you don't, then it's fine. Let it die.
Yeah. Kylie, if you have a question, you can text me a picture. That's totally fine.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
All right. And last question, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to go into this?
We'll go. Yeah. The last question is this a good hobby for people with ADHD?
I think so. Hell yeah.
I do too. I think there's so much variety in it, and it can be as stressful or relaxed as you want it to be.
It is a big world, and I think that it can tailor a lot of different people, and it also allows you to hyper focus on something that's a little therapeutic, because I find that pruning or watering or just even repotting is, you're touching soil, you're handling something that's living energy, and you're focusing on something that's outside of you, and you're not in your head. And I think that's a wonderful thing for us to just take a little break.
Yeah, and I think you can also kind of tailor it to as little or as much as you want it to be. Do you want a peace lily where it's going to just drop to the ground when it's, wanting water, and then you give it water and you're like, okay, that's done? Or do you want to, figure out your bonsai has a manganese deficiency,
Mm-hmm.
You can make this as hardcore or as not hardcore as you want. You can invest in a bunch of stuff. You don't have to. The Dollar Tree has great soil. They have great pots. They have great supplies. And
they really do. They have a ton of
great
good stuff, and they're inexpensive.
Inexpensive. Yeah, the Dollar Tree, Dollar General is where I find a lot of my pots, the plastic pots that I need for some of my plants, and they do great. But yeah, I think that's it. We got any more? I don't think I have any more questions. Anything you want to add, Karen, on plants?
I think we shared a good amount of plant stuff.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, you can just always share. We're always happy to give information.
You can email us at weirdsofafeather@gmail.com.
You can find us on Instagram.
No, we're not wrapping it up yet.
Yeah, I know, but you can DM us. I'm just saying that you can DM us on Instagram because some people don't like email. Yeah. Bye.
We can answer you faster.
Yeah. Some people don't like email, myself included. So I was just saying they can talk to us on Instagram.
Why was I going to say on the TikTok?
Well, you can.
Like, what? Kristin says that every episode. You can find us on the TikTok.
God, it's like there's 3 of me here. God.
No, we're just repeating your phrases.
I am annoyed with myself.
You got a lot of catchphrases.
I didn't know I had so many catchphrases, and I'm embarrassed.
When we eventually make stickers, I feel like there will be a lot of good Kristin catchphrases to go on stickers.
Find me on the Tickety Talk.
Yes, that's a good one. We're also going to have to, at some point, do the whole, like, are you a Grace or are you a Kristin, of, like, what type of personality do you feel like you have?
I feel like we have similar personalities, though.
But then you
don't.
Like
pretty different.
I feel like you're both individually very different. Like,
we're very specific brands of people.
You're similar in some things, but you're also just very different.
We're similar and different. We're both.
What the fuck are we? We're just recycling the same words over and over.
Yep, we're just saying the
same
thing.
All right.
Cut that out.
Is this a good hobby for ADHD? Yes. I have nothing more to add about plants. I think we covered a lot of things. It's been quite some time. I think it's time to get to
finish it. Finish it.
I lost steam. Alternative segments. Alternative.
Karen, do you want to throw in any DJ alternative segments? You can literally just go alternative segments or whatever.
Or
you want. You don't have to. Also,
you don't have to. It's whatever you want it to be.
No, I think I'm good. I can't think of anything right now. I'm trying to blank. What the fuck?
I don't want to do that.
I don't blame you.
Ooh.
Secret alternatives. This alternative segment is called Notes in My Phone.
Notes in my phone.
Notes in my phone.
Where we all read random notes we have in our phone.
We are kind of infamous for making a bunch of little notes in our phone notepads of just like maybe one word or one sentence that doesn't really have any context or meaning. I just have a bunch of random notes in my phone that I guess I thought at one point was a brilliant thought. I better write this down. And I'll go back through. I'm like, what the fuck? This just says like dog hamburger. Like, what does that mean? So we're going to read our notes in my phone.
Grace, you want to go first?
No, I don't have my phone.
Oh, okay.
So how many are we reading though?
I don't mind going first.
All right, you go first.
Okay, because I like to talk. I have a note on my phone that just says Muddy Penny Tea, and I have no idea when this was written down, why, or what it is in reference to. Muddy Penny Tea.
All right.
Notes in my phone.
Karen, what you got for your note in your phone?
Got unsalted butter sticks.
That's it?
That's
Like,
it.
Did you need to buy them?
Yeah.
You're wanting to eat them?
are they in a
I
recipe?
think I wanted to remind myself that I wanted to buy some, and then I never did because I don't remember
Yeah.
writing that message.
Yeah.
I never.
It's a nice note.
This
in
is
your
a
phone.
cemetery where my thoughts go to die. I never check this again.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
And then this random on November 11th, 2020, I said, not just. Oh wait, it's okay to glance back, but don't stare. No additional text.
So deep.
It was a deep thought at one point.
Why? What the
that's
fuck was I
nice.
doing on that?
You're a real
day?
philosopher.
Fuck.
All right, I've got a note in my phone that just says good dog names, and it says Boombox. That's a good dog name. And then Martini McBride. And that's it.
Martini McBride, that's really cute.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, notes in my phone.
All right. This has been Alternative Segments. Alternative Segments.
All right, we are galloping in to
Oh boy. Galloping
final
in.
stop of our
You're-
journey.
Yep, they headed into town
Yep.
to drop off goods.
We're part of a import
A
export-
convoy.
Ooh,
Oh.
horse convoy.
Yeah.
Where is this going? You might be
it's
wondering.
time for
It's gonna go into. Is it for into our pizza?
Yeah, we're going into
we're
Pizza Secrets.
trying to go into
We're
Pizza
just
Secrets.
trotting our
This
way
is
there.
trotting-
It's galloping, and I don't know why I think of a horse going into a river for some reason. The
Ooh.
horse
Go
brings
into
me to
river.
my pizza secret.
Does it?
It's river related, yes.
Oh, we got a river related.
We've got a real transition.
Don't get too excited. It's not.
I've never been more excited.
All right, let's throw that Pizza Secret song at him, shall we, ladies?
I'm ready. Pizza secrets, tell me your secrets. Pizza secrets.
Pizza
Nice.
Secrets.
Hell yeah.
All right, Karen, we've been waiting with baby breath to hear this Pizza Secret.
Baby breath.
This is your river related Pizza Secret. Let's hear it.
Shit. Oh God. I've been thinking for weeks about this. Like I did not know what to say for my pizza secret, honestly. And the other day we were talking about something and it reminded me, it was shit. We were talking about shit. And then it reminded me of that time that it was 10 years ago. I can say this confidently now and without shame. I am not sorry. I should be, but I am not.
I like where this is going.
I was in Dominican Republic celebrating my cousin's wedding, and we were on a little excursion at a river, and I needed to use the bathroom really, really bad. And the one bathroom they had there was clogged to the rim. And
gross.
I walked my way back to our little spot off the river, and I didn't know what to do. And I actually, no, that's why I knew what to do. I went into the river. I plopped into a little person, and my friend Sarah came with me. God bless her soul. She went with me to the bathroom, and she was like, well, we can take some toilet paper with us. I was like, I don't think I need that, because I took a shit in the river. And it was a runny and spicy shit.
Oh no!
Yep. I can say, I don't even know how I'm saying this out loud right now, but it's true. And
no.
I was at the top of the river.
Oh
and, and everyone that was at the bottom of the stream just got a stream of water filtered with my shit in it. I don't regret what I did. I needed to use the bathroom bad. And it was spicy, so I'm happy it was in a very cold river because it felt very good.
It's like nature's bidet.
Yeah, I just hope no one drank from that water. I really, but
Fish poop
yeah,
in the water
that
too.
was fucking awful. And I can't believe I did that, but I did.
Smart to do it upstream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't walk down to past them.
Oh,
so,
too late.
Yeah,
Past the point of no return.
Yeah, I just had to do what I had to do.
Sometimes you gotta shit upstream in a river, and that's just life.
Yeah. No, No.
Oh my
No.
God.
I don't want to relive that anymore. I'm done. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. That's
thanks
very
for
brave
sharing.
of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Princess Secret.
Because we're human. And
Yeah.
things happen.
Yeah. All right, give us a little Princess Secret. All right, Karen, thank you for getting vulnerable and sharing that pizza secret. You're
That's a great
in
pizza
safe
secret.
company. Yes.
Yeah. Do you want us to share pizza secrets? Or are we
No,
gonna
I think
call-
we'll just do Karen's. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think that's good because it's long enough.
Yeah. Karen's secret is enough for all three of us.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like.
quite the pizza secret.
I feel your pain in that secret, and I don't think you should be sorry because you
Right.
did what you had to do.
I had to.
Yeah.
All right.
They gave me no choice.
They.
The people who clogged the toilet gave me
Yeah.
no
They brought it upon themselves.
Yeah.
All right, so the horse has crossed the shit river and is now fully
gallops.
making
He
its
said
way.
gallops. He gallops.
Galloped across
the
He's
river,
got shitty hooves.
and now he's made it to town just in time for a nice cool bath, maybe a horse bath. Yeah,
Do horses take baths? You know what? I don't know anything about horses.
yeah, I know very little.
They have 4
For
legs.
the amount of time I read Black Beauty, you would think I would retain something else besides
Mary legs.
Mary Legs.
Mary legs.
No, you know what? So I asked my mom again, and she said, yeah, you went through a Mary Legs time, but then you also went through a time where you wanted to be called Black Beauty Ginger Mary Legs all at once.
Wow, the power of 3 horses in one.
But that's for a later date.
Yep, somehow we're talking about horses when it's time to wrap up the show.
We've headed into town, we've dropped off our goods, and now it's time
horse
to
bath.
take a horse bath.
We've reached that time in the show where it's time to take a horse bath. So that means that we're going to get on out of here. Karen, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you so
joining
much,
us.
This
This was a phenomenal episode.
Yeah.
Thank you
This
for
was
sharing
fun.
your plant knowledge and your pizza secrets and your quirks.
Yeah, especially that pizza secret. That's heavy.
I bet you're looking at me different.
No,
in a good way.
I am a hiker, and I know the feeling of needing to poop where there's no bathroom.
Didn't you wish there was a river?
I wish there was a river. Yeah, I had to dig a ditch, and it was not fun.
A river's kind of the best place to go if
Right?
you
Yeah,
I
have
think
to
it was
poop
just
outside.
Yeah.
flowing through. Like,
Yeah, you're
they
both
probably
flowing.
flew right by them. They didn't even know.
Yeah,
Yeah, until now.
Their mouths are open wide. Oh my god, it's so gross.
It's so good.
Oh, it's so funny. Yes, we've headed into the station. We've dropped off our
No, we're
goods.
past that.
We're past that. We need a horse bathe.
Yep. So Karen, if people want to reach out to you, do you have any place where they can drop you a little line, say hello?
Yeah,
If you
I
don't have
welcome-
to share.
No, I like that. I like talking to fucking strangers. I feel like my internet friends are a nice little community of people that I've picked. Like the friends that I get to pick, And
Aw.
if you vibe with my energy, then you feel like we can get along, then be my friend. I'm welcoming to everybody. And you can find me on Instagram because I like to share my stories a lot for some reason. I don't know why. When I'm in the mood, you'll see it. When I'm not, you won't. It's _2 and Sweet Cheeks on Instagram.
Nice.
And that'll be in the show notes under resources if you want to connect with
Yeah.
Karen.
Are you promoting anything?
No, just
Okay.
how to live a happy life.
Excellent.
What more is there? You know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was just trying to find.
If you're trying to reach Grace and I at the Woof, you can email us at I forgot it.
Weirds of a Feather. I forgot the name of our podcast. This is
At a
concerning.
moment,
We
at a
need to
moment.
go.
You can email us at weirdsofafeather@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Weirds of a Feather, and you can find us on
The Tickety Talk.
The Tickety Talk. Apparently, I hate myself. You
say
can
that
find us
your
on the
brain is
Hickety Talk.
The Hickety Tickety Talk. We know a lot about TikTok, and you can tell. Yeah. We will be back next week with. I was going to say what episode's coming next week, but that's-
We'll figure that out when we get there.
yeah, I shouldn't do that to myself. It'll be what it is.
We have an episode planned. We just forgot.
Yep.
That we planned that.
Yeah.
But yeah, reach out to us on the emails, on the Instagrams, on the TikToks. We would love to hear from you. You follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, like, and read a review.
Go read a review about us. See how other people feel about us.
One more time, and then
got
I'm
it.
not allowed to say it.
All right.
listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, wherever that may be. And then you can...
So then what you're going to do... You can rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Stitcher, Podbean, and the other ones.
It's Bean.
Oh.
The last time, it's Podbean.
I am butchering this ending.
All right, let's just end it. Karen's got a great bird call
Yeah,
first.
wait.
So Karen, you got
Should we do ours first? Karen's like the cherry on top. Okay, we don't have to.
Yeah, Karen, why don't you start squawk us out?
See, that's like so peaceful.
So now Kristin and I are going to come in with a little...
People's ears are bleeding.
Karen, that was lovely.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
was
for
lovely.
embarrassing
Thank you.
us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, once again, another guest has really just like put us to shame with our bird sounds.
Yeah, we should probably work on those.
Yeah, I think we need a professional.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Oh my god. It's so graceful.
It's just so lovely. I got to end it there.
Yeah.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.